existence.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Radiant Black podcast. This is a podcast focused on Radiant Black and the Massiveverse. Radiant Black by Kyle Higgins, Marcelo Costa, Becca Carey, and Michael Basuto. I'm your host, Bash, and I'm joined by my friends and my fellow co-hosts, Charlie, Matt, and Addy. How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Can't wait to get into this issue here. It was a pretty good one. Had a pretty good week. Actually, it's been super dead at work. Our whole network just got like hacked, so everyone's been like away at work. But we're kind of the maintenance crew, so we've just kind of been in there alone. So it's been kind of nice and quiet. So that's been okay. And yeah, can't wait to talk about this one with you guys. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I just got out of Megan. I saw like an hour ago, or Mithrigan for those in the know, and it's everything I wanted in a motion picture. I want to see Megan versus Chucky. When I got out of the theater, they announced the sequel, Megan 2.0, is dropping in 2025.
Okay.
I'm happy. So yeah, it's great, and but no, it's good shit. I recommend it. If you go see a movie recommended by me, it's Megan. It's great. Don't take your kids.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just got back from New York to visit some family. Did a Christmas do-over because the snowstorm in December kind of messed up all our plans. Got both all three Invincible compendiums, so that's nice. And except for the Massiveverse, we got IGR next week and No One coming soon. But you guys ready to talk some Radiant Pink?
Just a quick announcement. We actually had some delays for some of the issues. I guess someone said that we have like I'll double check it here, but I believe we have 2 issues of Radiant Black coming out within like a month of each other. So
yeah, March,
that's
I think,
going
right?
to be. Yeah, so Radiant Black number 21, that's February. Radiant Black number 21 comes out February 1st, and then Radiant Black number 22 comes out February 22nd. I think someone said it might have gotten postponed to March, but either way, that just means that we're getting either 2 in February or 2 in March. Exciting stuff because the series, it's starting, we're getting close to the Catalyst War, things are getting super exciting, and we've just been working on a lot of things in the background. Expect a new recommended reading guide soon. And it's interesting because I see a lot of people who utilized our reading guide, created their reading guide. I compiled information from everyone out there, including the Reddit, Massiveverse, including Wikipedia, including other forums, League, everyone's information put together. I think a really good reading guide. By no means is it definitive in terms of continuity, or it's more of like a pragmatic reading guide meant to help people who want to read it for the first time and follow some sort of like in-universe continuity timeline, or just a recommended reading guide for rereads. For example, I've noticed certain things like reading Radiant Black number 12 after number 5 or 6 actually improves the reading flow, because you'll have the origin of the 2 Radiants before you see their involvement more, of Pink and Yellow. Sorry, Pink specifically, before you see their involvement more. Like, it's weird to see her team up with Marshall and then her origin issue. I always thought that was weird. And, in hindsight. Yeah,
so for super fans, tell us which way you like more, if you like Bash's method or the other ones, because it can change it up too, especially for people that like to reread it. It can give you a fresh take, and you can tell us, tweet at us or comment in the Discord which reading method you prefer.
Regardless, it is a good idea though. Like especially with this many books too. Like it does get a little overwhelming too. So yeah, like you said, it just makes it a little easier too. Like I know when I got into comics, like there's so many issues. It's like just kind of definitely like you just have it right in front of you and don't have to worry about it.
And I don't try to separate. Like, I'm not one of those people who's trying to do like magic to separate Dead Lucky, Rogue Sun, and Radiant Black and try to figure out when each takes place, because that's literally impossible, because they don't have like date denotations or any sort of information to pinpoint towards that. And I think it makes a mess anyway. So I just assume they all go concurrently. So like Rogue Sun, Dead Lucky, and Radiant Black just all start at the same time as when they release and continue. Yeah. So it makes it a lot easier to follow. I'm pretty sure one thing I've noticed about the Massiveverse universe is that it's easier to mark all the details down in retrospect. So it's like, as we're moving forward, it's easier to look backwards and fix everything, because they do kind of give you ideas of what everything is happening. And a good example of that is in the recent issue of Radiant Pink and Radiant Black. So in the Radiant Pink number 1, you see that she's putting the charity stream, and then the Radiant Black, which came out later, you see that she's mentioning that hasn't happened yet and that it's coming up. So it gives you a sense of the timeline, and sometimes it is a retroactive process. Anyway, enough bullshit timeline talk. We've already gotten the Ant-Man trailer. Go get your cane fixed.
What do you guys think of MODOK's face?
Keep the mask on. I'll say that.
Yeah, agreed.
Definitely keep that mask on.
I wanted the face, but it looks so ridiculous. I'm here for the
Dude.
stupid, but it looks so dumb from that one still we saw.
I love it because it's meant to be dumb, but like
I know.
Man, that just looked like it should at least look like humorous. Like that just looked like
White out his pupils.
I don't know. We'll see. There's still
Anyway.
Let's get into Eva and Kelly's complicated adventure.
Yes.
That's the title of Radiant Pink #2. Writers Megan Camarena and Melissa Flores. Artist Emma Kubert. Colorist Rebecca Nolte. Letterer Rebecca Carey, who, by the way, just lettered Black Look #1 with writer Kelly Thompson and artist Meredith McLaren. So check that book out. Of course, editor and designer, the one and only Michael Visuto. Radiant Pink.
Megan's the only one in the Massiveverse who's been on the Amazing Race, and this is kind of like Amazing Race in this issue where world hopping and stuff like that. It's kind of like the show where you have to get used to new locations. So a little bit of that, how that can be so discombobulating, being taken from place to place, and that's a lot of what's going on here. So I like that.
Yeah, that's a very good comparison. Actually, I hadn't considered. And we start the issue in the middle of somewhere. Literally, that's what it says, somewhere.
It's gorgeous. Like, yeah, no, the colors on that look amazing.
It's a nice first page.
I like the sky.
Strange New Worlds is where we're going.
Yeah. No, that was my question. Like, because I assume she can't be trying to get home, or maybe she is trying to get home. But I was a little confused about that too. I actually went back to like Radiant Black like 8, because like I kind of remember this happening, like when she got like super tired and she actually made a wonky portal, like kind of coming out of the sky, like after fighting 001, and kind of teleported into space, and then Marshall had to supercharge her to get her. Actually, they went back to Moscow. So they got back there, and she said like she just needed a second of normal, her head spinning, her heart, my ears. She just needed a second because like her portals were done. She just needed a minute to rest. So I was kind of like expecting them to kind of just rest a bit this issue and explore this planet a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I think she just wanted to go on a little adventure and test out those portals.
Do we know how many issues it is? 6, right?
5?
5 issues.
5?
Yeah,
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I hope that they don't, as fun as this series is, and I enjoyed this issue, I hope they don't continue to have too many miniseries like out at once, because I think it's kind of interrupting like the flow of everything a little bit. It's making it hard to figure out what's happening in terms of like the context of the overall Massiveverse. And I know you don't like, someone who's reading Radiant Black necessarily wouldn't, but if someone's reading like the entire Massiveverse, it's kind of confusing. It's like, so it's Radiant Pink is. Sorry, let me rephrase that. This happens after the details of Radiant Black right now, right? Because we see that she mentions that. Yeah. So
as far as we know, it looks to indicate to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that already tells us that like Pink is gonna be fine in the events of Radiant Black, and I feel like that's a bit like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Where it's like it's getting to the point where it's like kind of those two things are interrupting each other in a sense, or kind of conflicting. Yeah. So. I do hope at least in the future, if we have a mini series, like it'll be like Radiant Red, where it came out during a time where it was a lot, there's just that other mini series, and it was easier, and even if it's in addition to Rogue Sun or anything. But like I feel like right now with Supermassive coming up, with Inferno Go Red right around the corner, and having been out already for backers, yeah, there's just a lot going on. It's tough, and I understand that you don't have to get everything, but I feel like, at least for the Radiants, I keep up at least with everyone.
I hope that Pink gets powered up in this and ready for the war, where she can use her portals without the needing vitamin C or the citrus or whatever she needs from the oranges, or they can find a way to sustain her powers.
But what is this though? Like, that's what I mean. Is like, is this, if long term, how is this kind of sustainable? Like, if they do a 5-issue miniseries and then you do hundreds of issues or whatever, tens of issues of development for Pink and Radiant Black. Like, how is that a sustainable approach to like the titles? Like, are they just gonna do Radiant Pink Volume 2 and another 5-issue miniseries? And I feel like that in a way is constraining unless you only have a 5-issue miniseries story to tell. And I feel like so far it's worked because it's mainly been origins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, let me add to that. I think it depends if the series has like long-lasting implications, or
Yeah.
it progresses the character, kind of like Red. Like,
Sound a little different at times. Like they do a pretty good job, like in the book, like like trying to resemble it, but it does feel even a little different in this. And yeah, you expand that out more and more creators, like with the same character. Yeah, it kind of it can change some things, but you can also add some things too. I think a big thing is too, like these mini series, that if as long as I think something you have to achieve is like it's not essential to the Radiant Black story to follow it, but it's just kind of like a fun add-on. Like they'll be kind of adding some things like in the future, but like as long as like you're not reading Radiant Black and like you're confused on some stuff, like like where did Eva get these powers, or like what the heck, like it is motivation to go, but yeah, once you get into that homework problem, it can be a lot to get through for
A
sure.
timeline's almost getting necessary in the back of some books or stuff every like 6 issues to be like, hey, here,
Yeah.
well, you know what I mean, bad, like, you know what, whether official, like, here's the order it takes place, or like, here's a reading order, and here's what you might have missed. If you're not looking on Twitter or on Discord or looking at,
I think that I agree with you. I'm sorry, I don't want to. I agree.
No, no worries. That's I pretty much made my point that we're getting close to that point. If the spin-offs continue, we could reach critical mass in the Massiveverse if we really do too many. I fear, but again, I could go for Radiant Yellow.
Because it's too idealistic to say. Like, I think the approach of like, oh, you don't have to pick up any title to like understand what's happening. I think that works for Rogue Sun, Dead Lucky, and those titles where it's literally they're just in the same universe, but they're not tied to Radiant Black per se, because like all the other Radiants are tied to Radiant Black directly in a very important way. But I feel like with them it makes a lot more sense because they literally have their own city, their own characters. And I feel like here we're getting a taste of that. But yeah, I feel like in the long term, I don't think that's a sustainable approach to think like, oh, if you want to read any of these Radiant like spin-offs, you don't necessarily have to know anything about the Radiant. I don't think that's entirely true because like if you read Radiant Pink and right now you pick up Radiant Pink #1 and you never read Radiant Black, you're gonna be confused about like Charlie said
What's
and Matt
Radiant?
said, yeah, what's a Radiant? Where did they get their powers? Like how are they doing this? Like it's not, but it does work. Is like it's like when you're reading a character in their own city, it kind of works in that way because like yeah, it's Radiant Pink doing her own thing. You don't see all the other things. You see her family, you see her friends. So it does a good job of introducing you to her corner of the universe, and I like that. And so far, yeah, it's been fun. Kelly's a cool new character. It's exciting and has cool implications for the Massiveverse overall in terms of who is Kelly. Is she working with Morrow? Is she Morrow? Is she someone associated? Just either way,
Epic Front or something, or some
yeah.
similar level.
And it's nice to see more creators, right? Like work in the Massiveverse, and we love Emma, we love Rebecca, we love Megan and Melissa. But yeah, I do think like overall like we should we should keep in mind that like as the Massiverse expands, they're gonna need to assume that like people aren't familiar.
Keep things tight with like while it's expanding, right? Which is hard to do. Like it's a big task. Like it definitely is.
Yeah. Like the pink volume should include issue 12, I think, of Radiant Black.
100%.
Probably, right?
Yeah,
100%.
They did that with Radiant Red.
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they did.
And it really went a long way. People like
Yeah.
I've had individual feedback from different people saying like I'm so glad like that I picked up Radiant Red not knowing anything, or just having read only parts of Radiant Black, and like it explained everything, and I'm glad they included this issue, blah blah blah. So yeah, like it was important.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That way you can portal in a little easier.
Yeah. It was good. But even that too, like I think like that you could read Radiant Black, even Radiant Red. You can pick up that trade and you can read that very accessibly. And I think you can read Radiant Black and not feel like you're missing anything not reading Radiant Red. But if you read both, it adds, right? So it's kind of like it's a bonus, kind of win-win for everyone. So I hope this does achieve it in the end. But yeah, for sure.
So yeah, they're just having their little romantic moments again, and it's hard to tell from both the reader's perspective and Kelly's perspective whether like the lines are blurring or whether she's just really good at her job. I think it's a bit of both. I think Kelly is having some feelings, but also she's committed to her role, and Eva doesn't know what the hell she's going on. I think this series, I think one thing Melissa and Megan do very well is show how inexperienced and naive Eva is, and I think it's very well done in this issue.
I think a lot of this for Kelly is survival instincts. Like Pink is her only way home. She doesn't know she's even like on Earth anymore. So it's like you, if this person gets pissed off at you, you're never gonna know. And your whole life will never be the same. So and we know she's already doing shady stuff. She could have a change of heart. Maybe love can do a lot to change people and make them rethink their lives and stuff like that. But I don't know. Right now, I'm thinking there's a lot of survival instincts, and she knows
Love,
Pink's naive.
burning loins, love.
Yeah, exactly.
Both, all of the above. I mean, there's a lot of like general horniness in this book, right? Like you can tell like both the main characters are thirsty for each other, like even beyond the just like right, like so it's like at least there's that. I do think that I wish that we were talking about this a little bit earlier that the romance was cooking a little bit more, but from the perspective of Kelly, where it's like an infiltration, like espionage thing, I do like that. I think that's pretty cool. But from the perspective of Eva, I think they do a good job showing that like she's just looking either for a rebound or just feeling a lot of pressure from her life from being alone, and we see that with the Z thing last issue. But yeah, compared to something like in Dead Lucky with the romance there, with the badass cop and with Bibiana, I think that one's done better, and I thought the payoff was so much more satisfying. But we'll see how this goes. I am speaking ahead of myself.
Yeah, well, it's
Oh.
still building up too, and we still there's a lot we don't know about Kelly, like you said, who is Shimaro or whatever. And I'm starting to think too that whatever device she has on her chest is somehow messing with Pink's powers still to this point.
Ooh, like this is a
Yes.
mission to get her trust, so you're just like making them think they're trapped or something like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like because like I forgot if we mentioned it before in the recording, but someone said that last time this happened in issue 8, when she couldn't pour it back
Yeah.
and Radiant Black had to charge her up. It took her like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, maybe like an
Yeah,
hour,
not that
but not
long. Like they
days
had a
like this.
coffee, like they sat
Yeah,
down,
Yeah,
relaxed, like
yeah.
it just took a minute. Took a minute to breathe. But yeah,
yeah,
I think I can chop it down to Eva like just wanting to get Kelly home and like going back to that theme of the story of like her just like being so like just restless and not wanting to give up and not knowing her limits. And just like I don't know, not wanting to like displease anyone. Like she doesn't want to like let down Kelly and like think she can't do this. But yeah, so she's just continuing to just push herself more and more.
yeah. So it's interesting to see that, and I like the writing in this way that Maddie's got her back, even though Eva goes missing and everything. Maddie takes care of the situation, despite being someone who looks to be a little younger and just inexperienced with the whole thing. She doesn't have powers, but she's taking care of the situation. I love the page with the Kevin cam, where they just like show Kevin
Yeah.
taking a bath. It's just like cameras on him. I thought that was a cute little
First appearance of
touch.
Kevin's butthole, Radiant
Yeah.
Pink 2, guys, get
And
that.
X marks the spot right there. But yeah, no, I do think I agree with Charlie. I love the planet design and the otherworldly designs of the environments that they're in. It's really cool. Kind of almost like Dr. Seussian in a way. I mean, like with
Yeah.
glitter.
Yeah,
And
I think also for me, like that first planet was so cool. Like I think like if you like it just like if you just stay there and chill, like I think we just like blew through these worlds so fast. But I think that was kind of that was the thing. Like I don't know, like this could be a thing where like these planets they might come back to in Radiant Black, like a planet, but yeah, if they're kind of just blasting through them, like yeah, they must not be as important.
You
But
should
yeah, no, they went through a lot though. That was a good comparison though. That Doctor Strange one, I do like that. Very very accurate.
Kelly should have or Eva should have befriended that sparkly monster and he could have just used it like as like pocket sand against the robots and you're winning. That's how you win the war. I assume that's where we're going. This is going to be like our
yeah.
what is it, Space Racer for the Invincible War?
pull
Like,
pull
going
a
on.
pull a man thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought this was fun. It was like a mix of like Dr. Seuss, Ghostbusters kind of situation
A little bit
almost
of
like
Mad Max slander.
yeah, Mad Max. Yeah, they reference the '80s movies, and that's immediately what my mind went to. So I'm glad you thought of the same thing. It was
When
fun.
you're when they're up above, right, and they're like underwater, are they talking underwater? I wish that was like a little nitpick, but I feel like that should be thought bubbles or whatever to open the portal because it looks like they're underwater in the lava lamp world on top of right above the Mad Max. I do like the idea, but yeah, the little thought bubble. Other than that, is a little bit of a nitpick. Anyway, so what are you saying about?
Oh, yeah, I had no idea. I was saying like I've noticed that like yeah, like whether it's conscious or not, every time there's like an oh shit moment, Kelly is getting closer and closer, and things are beginning to heat up. So as the issue progresses, Kelly gets closer physically, like literally.
Look at the page where they
Yeah,
drop in
yeah,
the pixel world.
yeah. Even yeah, when she's dropping and she's
Yeah.
holding on to her for dear life, she's got her arms around her torso, around Ava's torso. And at this point, let's keep in mind, like she took off the mask, right? We forgot to mention that she asked Eva to take off the mask, and that's why I said like her naivety and her inexperiencedness, because that's like I'm assuming Eva's still a teenager or in that age range, maybe a young adult, so maybe she's like 20, 21, like that. So it's like she's still young. Like you guys said, she's lusting a little bit. Maybe part of it is love, but like she doesn't really know much about this person. So part of it is like
Not
looking
definitely.
to. I mean, she definitely has love in her heart to give, and we see that from the whole Z thing. And she's lonely, and she sees someone who she's attracted to, who seems like a good person. So maybe there's something forming there. But yeah, that taking the mask off, I think, was very significant, and I think that's
It's
definitely
symbolic.
going. It is, and I think that's huge. I'm glad I didn't forget about that. I think like even if that doesn't come back to bite her in the ass, which 100% it will, it's
100%.
gonna be something that might potentially impact Marshall and Nathan
Yeah.
because we know who two Radiants are now, right? We know who two of the four Radiants are in the public. Like it's public knowledge, or at least like more than one person knows. You know what I mean? Like not in their circle, because everybody knows who Tomi is
Hmm.
because she's in
Yeah.
prison. Yeah, and now,
Which put the
yeah,
abuela in danger. You put your friends in danger.
exactly. You get it exactly. So putting everyone in danger. Maddie, Abuela, like the other Radiants. This is
And
this
she's
is
she's been
very.
seen hanging out with Marshall multiple times too,
And
like
she's a
in
streamer.
civilian. Yeah,
She's
yeah,
a
yeah. She's
streamer, so
already a
this is
public figure.
exactly. So it's not like this isn't something that can really mess her life up. This is something that could just destroy her entire like her
If we're
whole.
trying to help people and be
Or
honest and just like try like
exactly.
get feelings for someone, you're trying to open your heart up to the world, and sometimes the world, takes advantage of that. And hopefully this doesn't go that way. But every story I've ever seen, it's not gonna, like Bash is saying, it's definitely gonna come back to bite her in the ass.
Yeah. And now
Yeah.
I think Kelly is kind of taking advantage of that with the whole like taking advantage of her being attracted to her because we've already seen the thirst like in terms of like Eva making comments, explicit comments about being like, whoa, like you're cute, or did someone turn up the temperature in here last issue, like when they
She
fall
said
on
she had a
each
great
other.
ass at the beginning of the issue.
Yeah,
The
Yep.
neon superhero has a
exactly.
great ass. She's pretty cool.
Exactly. You so there's already that tension there, you know what I mean? There's
Yep.
already this, and Kelly's kind of like preying on that by like getting all close, turning up the heat during the tense moments, like arms a
Kelly
bit.
is 100% playing Eva. 100%.
Yes, yes, and it's really it's hard. It's a little bit shitty as the reader to be reading it, and in a good way. This is props to both the writers for great writing. It's pretty shitty to like watch Eva get manipulated that way because part of you is like, fuck, is Kelly like, does she have feelings for her? And then part of you is like, it doesn't really matter whether she has feelings for her or not because she's gonna have to go through with this in some sort of fashion because she's already in it, right? She's already like way too deep in it. And we're kind of like seeing how that plays out. I do like that we have Eva like basically have a temper tantrum here after her most recent portal when she uses the last ditch effort, desperate portal to escape the giant green slime monster, the sentient slime, and they fall into some like other pixelated, weird looking desert planet, and that's where she vomits.
Yeah. I,
Yeah,
I I did like this. This was a direct callback to, I think, to Radiant Black 8. Like she gets out of the portal and
yeah,
she hurls on the ground like that. But again, like going back to earlier, like I don't know when this book takes place. Like you said, it must take place after Radiant Black 8, right?
It takes place, I think, and if you read Radiant Black, like 20 or 20, the most recent
It
issue.
takes place after
20,
that, right?
It takes place after that, yeah, because she references it in the future.
And it kind of like she's reacting like this is the first time it's happening. Like she's like, what the is happening
Exactly.
to me? I don't like, and like she doesn't know what's going on, but like this has already happened.
No.
So yeah.
Well, like we said, it has never lasted this long. It's never been.
Yeah.
She's never
Yeah.
been this powerless and stuck somewhere for this long. That's why I really think Kelly's doing something to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. So do you think her robot saves her? Is that what you guys are thinking?
I mean, the robot has to make an appearance at some point.
Oh yeah, I would like that. Just come in 1v1 versus Kelly versus the robot. I'll take it.
Was I the only one reading this issue going, eat the pixelated fruit? Because isn't that what, like, the oranges help? So isn't it like citrus or vitamin C would likely be in this? And I would think a gamer would discriminate against pixelated, fruit.
Didn't even think about that.
This is where Melissa wanted to incorporate that scratch and sniff, but was turned down. Like Kyle Higgins, it was just like, I don't know how we could come up with a rainbow glitter scratch and sniff. Fuck that shit.
Scratch and sniff is our fight club, because I've never heard anything shot down so much as like scratch and sniff in the Radiant Black universe. So much has been just like, we're never doing scratch and sniff. Meanwhile, Kyle's probably at the scratch and sniff factory making like who knows what. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know.
This is a great like tantrum though. This was like, I was waiting for this tantrum. I was like, she's like, I'm in a shit situation. Like I want to see them lose it because this is a bit helpless, and I like that. I like this whole like her crunching the throwing the freaking orange in Kelly's face. I absolutely love that. I'm not gonna lie.
I wish the splat was an 8-bit too, like the onomatopoeia, like the sound effect would have been sweet too. Would have been a nice touch. But no, I do like how she's a gamer in her pixelated world, which is a nice touch to go to like a gamery kind of world. So I do dig that. Also, Kevin on the next page, the way he's sitting, like Kevin is the best. Like Orson is nothing compared to Kevin if we're comparing like Radiant Black versus animals. Oh, anyways, no.
Kevin is carrying Eva Play stream right now.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that about the video game motif, because I feel like that's quite present throughout the entire miniseries so far. Like the miniseries itself does feel like a video game. This feels like a significant side quest. The whole miniseries, it feels like the side quest of like Eva figuring out her shit before really becoming a Radiant, right? Like fully. So I agree. I do like that in a lot of ways. I really do like Maddie a lot though. I think Maddie has been the best addition to like the Radiant Pink Circle.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of turning into Eva there, just kind of just grinding 24/7, taking over the streaming business while Eva's off Doctor Strange
by doing this. And
she's her girl in the chair.
Yeah, exactly. That's big time. I hope she's paying her well for this, or I don't know. I guess it's the kindness of her heart, but damn, like seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, but I love the art on the pixelated universe pages. I thought it was I just love it. It is 100% a throwback to just like old school retro video games. I do like that there's a lot of video game references. For instance, in that page, Eva says sorry, and that's where Kelly says, did the tree shaking help at least? And then Eva replies, a little, felt like Animal Crossing without the bees. So there's a lot of love for video games. We know Melissa's a gamer. I mean, we've seen her incredible setup. Megan's obviously a gamer. She streams on Twitch, she streams on other YouTube, and doing that for ages. So it really shows the culture of gamers and gaming in general. It really shows throughout this book, and it's awesome. That's why it feels authentic as hell. Like Eva feels 100% like a gamer. Yeah. You know what I mean? She is a gamer. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of actually, question I have for you guys tying into this next page here, as we see this like catmobile, I guess. But yeah, this big pink cat thing. And kind of Kelly makes this point, like, are you sure you're not inventing the planets we're portaling to? They're oddly off. Like on brand. Like what do you guys what do you guys like? Is that deliberate? Is she like, can Eva like a kind of attract to like kind of planets linked to her interests, or is she like
she brought them to Russia when they were in
Wanda now, kind of creating her own realities? Like she's
probability manipulation. I don't know. It definitely is a little bit on the nose though. So like with the slime at first, and then
or is it just on the nose, or am I just thinking? I guess maybe I'm.
I mean, you have to if part of it is partially what you're thinking about, your interest would definitely would be intertwined with where you go if it's dependent on that. So I can see that being a part of it. And I like that you highlighted that because it's a good point. A lot of these worlds do kind of like go with it. Maybe she wanted a lava lamp. I'll have to check her streaming setup. I don't know if she has a lava lamp, but they ended up in the lava lamp world. I do like that you mentioned it though.
But that makes me wonder now, like, why did they say that in the book? Because I feel like we could have realized this without them explicitly saying it in the book.
Yeah.
But now it's making me think that there's probably something going on that's going to be revealed later.
Yeah,
Everything's
I don't
meta too. So
Like-
I don't know. It could
Yeah.
just be with the
I don't know if
environment.
What if that's her like mega power? She could teleport to like a different plane of
a different
existence.
plane,
you know?
like
Or this shit's in her
her
imagination,
own
like-
yeah,
existence.
yeah,
like-
yeah.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
multiverses now?
Yeah. Like, what if she could go to her own, like, like quantum realm, sort of, but like
That's
for
kind of like,
teleporters.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
what it seemed. But yeah,
I'm not thinking of America when she's there with Kelly, by the way, who's known for world hopping too. So anyways, that's neither here.
Someone said, like, several people have said, I've seen this comment so many places, like on Reddit, on YouTube, on everywhere, on Discord. People be like, Eva, in a lot of ways, and I agree, is the sideways, as in the hero of the Radiant Black of the Massiveverse, and it's like 100% she's the sideways. Like sideways, even like the costume kind of looks a little bit similar to Radiant Black. So like there's definitely some influence, whether it's subconscious or not. But I actually like Eva more because I like that they've really given her personality in terms of the gaming and in terms of who she is, in terms of her diversity and all of that. Like she's such a great character, I feel like. So I think this issue really shows you more of her character than it does her as a superhero. I think her as a superhero, you see her fail a lot in this issue because, like we said, naivety, inexperience, just overall pressure from her life, trying to account for so many different people, family, friends, and we're dealing with cosmic shit. But I think as Eva, in terms of focusing on who Eva is and what Eva does, I think this issue does an excellent job. And yeah, the cats definitely. There's definitely some sort of projection there. Like I think it's
that can't be a coincidence.
No,
Like,
cat supremacy for life.
Oh man, no, that was good. Yeah, we got the cat suits here. They got the whole setup. I don't know. They have
like,
two
it's so
suits.
deceptive,
Dude,
right?
they have
the suits
two
have
suits
hearts
there.
on them and shit.
They have
But,
fucking
so you
two
look
cat
fuzzy.
suits.
They look fuzzy though, right? Like you see the suit that has a heart on it, and you're like, oh, this is like a nice cat. It's such a clean,
but it looks
organized-
like they have like exactly two ready for two of them. So yeah, it's something's going on here for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, they take off. They manage to hijack the cat ship, I guess, for lack of a better word. And they do take off. They're trying to find a way out of their situation, and that's when Eva realizes that there's what is it called?
This issue should have been called Stray Cats. I'm calling it right now. That's what we should have called it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
there's scratches. Yeah, they notice that's when they encounter the cat, because they've been wondering like how come there's all this cat stuff. There's cat suits, like Charlie said, but there's no cats, and they see that there's
his ship. This cat's ship. Do we think?
Oh yeah, because they were like they're locked in the door, and even like the astro suits have cat shaped ears like slots.
In my headcanon, Battle Beast freed this cat that was enslaved in a vent, sewn together. That's what I think happened.
But I mean, this is a big ass beast. A cat. It's a cat beast. But yeah, big cat. I mean, how many eyes? Four-eyed cat. Scary looking cat, to be honest. Like a big mutant Wolverine looking cat. Pretty terrifying.
I'm talking four eyes like has glasses. We're talking four eyes like good eyesight, not bad eyesight. Four eyes. And the tusks, it's got you don't see those on cats for good reason. That would mess you up. And,
I mean, man, that scratch, like the initial scratch, because like even we see her naivety and play again when she approaches the cat like almost innocently because it's a cat, and then the cat just fucking maims her. Yeah. And like that was brutal, and like I was genuinely worried about Eva there. I was like, is she dead?
Like, she's worried about the cat. She's like, I don't want to do this, and then she gets wrecked. But yeah,
it almost looked like if her arm like bent the wrong way, like got broken, but it looks like it was just a scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this thing was pretty vicious for sure. What do you guys think of this reveal here on the next page? This was big reveal for the series. I was personally expecting it to come a little later on, so I was a little shocked it came this early, but it did make sense in this moment. Like
Kelly
she
can use
did
the
need
tech.
to be saved, and yeah, she came out, kind of revealed her powers, and yeah, kind of the moments exposed for Kelly.
Yeah, I think this. I agree with you. It did come sooner than I was expecting. I didn't think it would happen in this issue. I thought it would happen in the next issue. But I think that the fact that it happened in this issue, and this is my take on it personally, so I don't want to put words into anyone else's mouth. I think it's because that she's beginning to have feelings for Eva, so she intervened. And even though the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
reason
I
I
like that.
suspect this, yeah, the only reason I suspect this is because right at the end, when she says that vest, you and like Eva's looking at her and she's clearly about to pass out, and then she embraces Eva and she says, "I'm sorry." So like I think in that moment, I think that's like her conflicting feelings. I think she saved Eva because she cares about her, and she revealed like she had to reveal early who she was. It might have like messed up the plan, but I think it's because she has feelings for Eva. And then the title they said next, the world's worst love story. So I think this actually makes the story more interesting for me personally. I'm actually very excited now to read issue 3 because I did not expect it to go this way.
Oh, if you look at the cover for the next issue, I like the contrast between this issue's cover and next week's cover. Like this issue, they're hugging, they're kissing,
Yeah,
and the next one, they're back to back, and
yeah.
even Eva's eyes.
Yep.
The cat has a fifth eye
Man.
too, like Doctor Strange style.
Grew an eye, grew
It's
some
cool.
horns there too. It's
Like that could be the
Holy
cat's dad or something, or mother, that they took
yeah,
out.
yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
that's true. That's true.
true.
That's a good point.
What do you guys think Kelly's powers are? Like just telekinesis, I guess.
The manipulation.
She must be like that whole armor and everything. That's what gets me wondering. Like, is this someone who discovered the 001 papers and started creating their own technology? Is this a competing company, firm, organization, or is this Morrow involvement yet again? Because it really could be either or, and it would be good either or.
001 papers is an interesting idea that they've evolved their tech to be like a new form, so it's even more potent and easy, like a bit more discreet. I think that would be a pretty interesting route.
Oh, it's public now, so it really could be anything. It could be anybody.
Yeah, especially with like what's happening in San Francisco, like Jimmy Moss now being a little bit exposed after last issue as being like a bastard. So it's interesting to think like is this all part of the impact of the 001 technology papers like leaking? Is this all part of like a similar, and it also gets me wondering like how so one thing I wanted to point out that is a little bit of a sidetrack, but we're done with the issue for the most part, that I think it's okay. I reread a lot of the Massiveverse stuff, and I've noticed that Shift is at the heart of everything. Like every single thing that's moving in the Massiveverse,
It's from
Shift is
story to
involved.
story.
Yeah.
Even if he's not in the story, he's still in the story because he's somehow involved with what's happening, like like through companies or whatever. So in Image, he was the main focus because it was mostly about him for the most part. In Radiant Red, he befriended Radiant Red and he tried to get her on the same team, but then they went their separate ways and he betrayed her. Yeah. And Radiant
Dead
Pink.
Lucky.
Yeah, and Radiant Pink, we haven't seen him yet, but I'm sure we'll see him. Maybe he's behind Kelly. And Dead Lucky, yeah, he just came. And spoiler alert for anybody who's not caught up in Dead Lucky, you don't want to listen to the next 10-15 seconds. But in the Dead Lucky, spoiler, he just showed up and he's working with Bibiana, and they have almost like a camaraderie together. So I think what he's done with Bibiana is the most interesting because he's almost leveraged her as a contact. I wouldn't say ally because I don't think they align in their views, but I do think that she'll scratch his back because she scratched his back if need be in a certain context. So it's interesting that he's leveraging her as a contact. They have this weird camaraderie where she kind of likes him and he kind of likes her, not in like in a sexual way, but in a like they respect each other and their skill set and their ability to get shit done.
In arms together and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool dynamic, actually. Very, very, very fucking cool. So I love Shift's involvement, and he's like, the guy almost pulling all the strings, and it's got me like really curiously thinking like, who the fuck is Shift? Because like he clearly has issues. He has like memory issues.
He probably doesn't
Exactly. So what if
you don't
he's
know
like,
Jack of a Shift.
what if he's like really involved. You know what I mean? Like really involved. Like he knows a lot more than he lets on, and maybe he's after some deeper like understanding or something like that. And it's like, you know what made me think even crazier? What if Shift was like related to Marshall? Because we don't know what really happened or anything. You know what I mean? Like what if somehow he's related to like Marshall, like they're like
What if
brothers.
Marcus is that kid? He kind of looks like he could be one of Marcus's kids.
Yeah. Just like Dylan's big brother, his
Yeah,
bastard brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who's like the true Rogue son? He was born
The
first or
next
something.
rogue son.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, honestly. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like Shift is everywhere. His grimy hands are everywhere. He seems to know a lot more than he lets on. He doesn't seem to like when he met Dead Lucky, he didn't bring up anything about anyone else. He was very careful and considerate about what he said to her, and I thought that was particularly interesting. And he was also very careful about how he expressed who he was and what his interests were. You know what I mean? He was very like concise with his words. He didn't let on more than he had to. He's very like slippery. Shit.
Ironically, I forget what the extent of his memory loss issues are, but I mean that would be a good reason to hire him as a mercenary if he would forget a lot of the jobs that he did for people. So I wonder what his boss is like too.
That's
Uh,
true.
so I think it's interesting. The character of Shift is really interesting. I can see why
Yeah.
he got his own little like 4-issue spin-off because he can shift like he can really tie he can be like the glue in these series
Yeah.
like the the Nick Fury kind of like connective tissue or Rosario Dawson's character in like the Netflix uh shows with
Yeah.
the
Night
whole
Nurse. Yeah.
yeah exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting because like I think he's so involved, and we said that issue of Image number 3, is he gonna be one of the main catalysts? Haha, see what I did there? Haha, catalyst. Is he gonna be one of the main catalysts for the like the what's the word? The development of No One? Maybe not directly, like, but like if you read like No One is a product. Basically, No One comes out. He exists because, or they exist because of the killings. And are those killings motivated like is that all going to be motivated by the information that they release about Richard Rowe? Like, is that going to spark some sort of like backlash? That has me curious. So even if it's not as extreme as we think, I think Shift is definitely involved there somehow. And it makes me wonder. And this is what I wanted to. This is what I was really thinking about. Getting wild. Like No One's gear looks Shift-esque in the sense that it looks like the same kind of gear that people like Shift have been giving to Sheer, to Excel, to
Oh,
all
the
those
whole gang.
people. Yeah. So, and now to Pyre, by the way, the newest character in the Massiveverse. Who there's two new characters in Rogue Sun. The one of them wasn't named, and the other one was Pyre, who just throws fire and look like a badass. So very excited for Pyre. Or was that Dead Lucky? No, Dead Lucky, right? Dead Lucky, Dead Lucky.
Lucky has
Sorry.
fire.
Yeah, it was Dead Lucky. Yeah, it was Dead Lucky with Pyre. Yeah, so he was in the recent issue of Dead Lucky. So yeah, you have all these characters now, and even Pyre looks like someone obviously involved with Shift. If you read the issue. So what do you guys think? Do you think No One is someone involved with Shift, or do you think No One is someone who might have like in a Hobgoblin Green Goblin situation where like they found like a layer of like Shift shit and they were like, oh my god, like I can do a difference with this, or something like that.
I feel like it's hard to say right now because we don't even know what no one does, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised if Shift is somehow involved.
He's like his gear looks the same. Like his helmet looks similar to Shift, right? Like it
Oh
looks
no,
like a
it's
mix
definitely
of
part
Shift
of
and
the
001.
definitely it's definitely like has to do something with that technology and the 001 papers that got released. Like it has to.
Yeah, I would think so too. I think there's no reason not to believe it's gonna be tightly connected just because of all like the other books we've got and like Dead Lucky how tightly connected that is too. So who knows? Like, but yeah, this one's a little different like with the podcast, and this one has definitive dates too, right? So yeah, this one could really, if it's really involved, kind of put an effect on the timeline for us. But yeah, it could be interesting to just see how intertwined it's going to be. Kind of up in the air right now for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good way to end Radiant Pink number 2. Overall, a fun issue. We're excited for issue number 3. Melissa, Megan,
I just have one question. If she didn't
Yeah.
point at the cat and she just did like the Chris Pratt handout thing that he does with all the dinosaurs in Jurassic Worlds 1 through 3, do you think it would have stopped and not slashed the shit out of her? Because it is blue
Work.
too. She goes, "Come on, blue," and then you
Works every time. Works every time.
Anyways, yeah, no. 2 is. I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm glad that we did the power reveal. So yeah, 3 should be interesting, especially with this like elder cat that might kill them. It could be like an Elden Ring boss that they have to take down next time. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see what the fifth eye is about. Is that just the one of the parents, or a big boss, the final boss? Yeah, great issue. Looking forward to the next issue, World's Worst Love Story title. Yeah, the team's been killing it. Rebecca Nalty, Emma Kubert, Nos Flores, Megan Camarena, Rebecca Carey. Awesome job with issue number 2. And I just want to give a shout out to our patrons, Joe J. Just because there's a lot of Joes out there, and this one's Joe J. Patrick and Noah, thanks for your support. Thanks for helping us be able to do this. Appreciate it. And if you're interested in checking out the Patreons, Black Podcast, Patreon, or whatever it is, so just check that out. You'll find it easily. It'll be in the episode description. In terms of what comes next, we have a really exciting Best of 2022 Massiveverse. We're gonna record sometime soon, like very soon. That's gonna probably be the next episode we have out, if not right after Inferno Girl Red. And yeah, Inferno Girl Red. Oh my God, we've been waiting so long. Missed out on the Kickstarter. It's been quite a journey, but now finally in 1 week from today, the day that we're recording this podcast, we're gonna get Inferno Girl Red Book 1, and they just showed today some of the shirts that are coming out with the release of the issue, and they look amazing. I'm very excited. I'm proud and very happy for Matt Groom, Erica Dorso, Becca Carey, and Ego Monti. Can't wait.
It's been a while, and it's been a long road, but I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, those shirts look pretty sweet. It's kind of like they seem just like really propping this thing up. So yeah, can't wait for it. Just those previews we've seen, like this definitely been like one of my most anticipated books like this whole year for sure. So yeah, I can't wait for that, and can't wait to talk to you guys about it too.
Next week's gonna be fun.
Same here. Oh yeah, and I think the same week we're also getting Radiant Black, a new issue next week. So it's going to be one hell of a week. We've got
and Dead Lucky too. We haven't done either,
right? We got Dead Lucky last week. So I think
5 we have to as well.
We got to record that at some point.
Oh yeah, record that. Yeah, we'll record that soon. I mean, I'm so excited to talk about that one. It was my favorite issue of Dead Lucky.
Freaking good one, yeah.
And she gets
the most lit, right, with Pyre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she gets
the
an
suit.
Upgrade.
I haven't read
the suit and the gun and everything.
Yeah,
oh my God, that's so good, dude.
So
it was a great issue. Like everything in the issue felt earned. I really loved it. Genuinely, best issue for me. So yeah, we've got a great week for you guys next week. Dead Lucky 5. Probably out soon. IGR 1. Oh my God. Super hype. And then obviously Radiant Black, number 21. For those of you out there, just a quick reminder that the remaining issues we have for January 25. Inferno Girl Red book 1 on January 25, and Rogue Sun on February 1st. So that's all we have left for this month. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time for Inferno Girl Red and the Best of 2022 Massiveverse. Stay radiant.